How did you use media technologies in the construction and research planning and evaluation stages? The media technologies that I used to create my products were Adobe InDesign, Adobe Photoshop, Wix, Weebly, Google Drive, Nikon D3200, Tripod, Photography Studio, Prezi, Amaze and Powtoons. The pros of Adobe InDesign. It was easy to use to create both double page spread and a billboard. You could have different layouts whether you wanted the 2 pages up on screen and or guidelines. The cons was, as I did most of my work on my own computer, the fonts that I used to make the products were not accessible on the college and computers. It zoomed in too much, which was frustrating as I wanted to see the full product, but it ended up cropping half of the double page spread sometimes. There was also 2 boxes that you had when placing an image, which was frustrating as you was not sure which one cropped it and which one was the actual size of the image that you want. Adobe Photoshop. Pros. Easy to edit photographs without being cropping or changing the colours within the image. It was simple to find the tools that you needed, for example boxes, adding text, changing opacity. Wix. The pros. Able to use existing templates to create my own website. Was easy to use, include anything that you wanted, including music, pictures, hyperlinks, Facebook, Twitter. But the cons of this was sometimes it cropped my own photograph so that parts of the image were missing, which was frustrating. Weebly. The pros. Creative and professional look for a blog to document the progress as I was making within my work. Making separate pages for different parts of the coursework was easy. However, the cons of this was that it started to freeze and not function properly. The change in the title of the blog post and the dates was hard, and adding images was frustrating as again cropping out parts of the image. Google Drive. The pros. Easy to put work into separate folders. You can access the work on any other computer or mobile device, which saves automatically all the time. However, it does not have spell check, therefore you had to copy and paste the document into a Word document. Nikon D3200. The pros. Easy to use, have a choice of manual or automatic, not too big therefore you can carry it around, but the cons is that setting the right aperture for the photographs in the studio was pretty difficult, especially when I was doing my shoots. Tripod. It's easy to carry and makes your photograph straight, however it's very fiddly as there are lots of different parts to it to change the height or the angle so that it's portrait. The Photography Studio. It's spacious, the backdrops are curved so that you do not get as much shadows, and if I had a full portrait image you would not see the curve as it would look professional. However, it's not big enough and needs repainting as it's quite mucky. Prezi. Creative online PowerPoint, which looks again really professional. There are templates to choose from which can suit different things or have an option to make your own up. Work saves automatically after you type everything. However, it often freezes, difficult to add in the PowerPoint you have made on Word. Amaze. An artistic looking PowerPoint, basic but still looks professional and suits the target audience. However, it was difficult to figure out what was what at the beginning and how to change the size and the font of the text. Powtoons. Online presentation where you are able to add characters, text, images and etc. Quick and fun to make, very similar to Prezi apart from it being more of a video. But the overall looks quite childish. I use Adobe InDesign to make my double page spread, contents page and billboard. On my Weebly blog you can see everything that I've done with the editing, such as adding text, adding images. Whereas the Adobe Photoshop, this is where I would edit my photographs from the contact sheets to use for my final products. This is where I could change the colours of the image using the hue saturation tool. I could crop my images so the background was not overtaking the image of Zoe. I also used Photoshop to create my front page, as I find the software much easier to use due to having practice in other lessons. With the front page I use Photoshop to insert my images, add boxes, text and colour. On Photoshop I was able to edit the backdrop in the Photography Studio. As you can see in some of the images taken that there are lines from how the backdrop has been fixed together. This was done by the Spot Healing tool. The tool that was most important with Photoshop was the opacity tool. This was how I changed the density of the colour so that it was much lighter. Wix. Wix is the website I use to create my own website. I was able to edit how many pages I wanted on the website, how to add text, both headers and descriptions, adding images or slideshows. I also added hyperlinks, which allow you to click on one thing and take you to another page. For the example of this is the home page. If you click on the button on the right hand corner where there is a list of exhibitions, this takes you to another page about the exhibitions in Leeds. The things that were frustrating was that they had too much extra things on the page so you could not see everything at once. Weebly is where I blogged all my work from the beginning of the course. This helped me to show my development of ideas and work. I posted a lot of posts with the things that I've done each time I edit my products, so that the audience can know what tools I've used. The limitations are that was previously stated about the freezing, which could be to do with the amount of work on there, as there are many images which will be high files and presentations and text, or it could be the amount of people who use Weebly now as a resource showed documentation. Google Drive was mainly used at the start of the year when analysing existing products, documenting my research and finding ideas to use for inspiration for my products. Recently I have not used this as much unless it was to create PowerPoints to show the editing of my work. Nikon D3200 and tripod and the studio. These were the main equipment that I used to take my photographs for my products. The Nikon D3200 is easy to use and was mainly kept on automatic so that the aperture and shutter speed depended on the lighting in the studio. With the lighting, I used two light sources, one facing Zoe and another facing the backdrop so there was less shadows caused. The photography studio gave me a choice of whether I wanted to work on black or a white backdrop. I chose white so that it looked similar to the existing products I've looked at. With Amaze, it was much more fun and an appealing look, however it was too bright and it was hard to edit the things I wanted to put together. With Powtoons, as stated before, it was much more of a child-based look and it wouldn't suit my target audience. Prezi was used for the third evaluation question. It's similar to Amaze, but this presentation I think personally looks more creative and suited my target audience.